What's good, family? How's everybody doing today? I just want to make a quick video today about my thoughts and just my thoughts and personal belief about the ADOS movement in the US and who I would consider and not consider ADOS. And just out of curiosity, how does my YouTube subscribers feel about the movement and who do you consider an ADOS and non ADOS? All right, family. So for today's topic, I'm gonna be discussing about about hitting the metal. My bad, family. Anyways, fam. So today's topic in regards to, can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm sure y'all could hear me. So in today's topic about who is considered ADOS and who's not, I'm gonna be discussing today about Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands because they're not part of the mainland America, but they're U.S. territories. So we have to ask ourselves, are these people considered ADOS in the sense that they are American citizens, they are black, and they descended from slaves? So would they be considered ADOS? Yes or no? And this is how I personally feel about it. That's a tough question to ask because to ask and answer because we have to think about it. In Puerto Rico, slavery was abolished in 1875. And then it was annexed by America in 1898. So with that being said, would we consider that ADOS? Yes or no? I would say to some degree yes. They're not immigrants. We can't consider them black immigrants. We really can't. Because we can't consider people who are American citizens immigrants when they're not. They're not immigrants. And they're descendants of slaves. So, with that being said, let me check my comment section. Nobody commented. We can't say anything. So, would they be considered ADOS? I would say yes to some degree because we have to think about it. Slavery in Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, yeah, it might have been in Puerto Rico it was abolished in 1875. In U.S. Virgin Islands it was abolished in 1900s, and then they were annexed after slavery. But the problem is that was on paper. In the Puerto Rican life and the U.S. Virgin Islander life, it was exactly the same as the antebellum South to many degrees. They might have they're the majority, yeah, but they're the majority in the southern, and black people are the majority in the southern United States too. If you think about it, because the 3/5 compromise, the 3/5 compromise made every descendant of slave or slave 3/5 of the person. So they were 33% of the population black slaves. That's if you think about it, that means that 50 black people were 55% of the whole southern United States population because they're only counted as 3/5. With that being said, there were also free blacks as well. There was about a few, like 3-4%. So we'll give them that. So that means that, and then there's also mixed people too, and other people. Maybe there's a few Asians, whatever. Probably not a whole lot, but let's keep it a buck. So whites were about 40% of the South, so they were a minority. Let's keep it a buck. Not through power though, through population. Through power, they had the power. That same in Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands. Whites did have a lot of power there, and they still do to this day because Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands are not U.S. states; they're territories. We need to also grant these two territories as statehoods too later, sooner or later, just depends. Another thing is that when America annexed Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, the slavery was pretty much brought back, and it was already there. It didn't end in 1875. It was still there. There was still a lot of slavery in Latin America. There was a lot, and same within in the Caribbean too. So yeah, there was a lot, and then they were annexed as U.S. territories, or should I say states? They should be statehoods. And also, there was a Jim Crow system. It's not like they immigrated here like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. Or they were annexed around that time when stuff was getting better. No, they were annexed during Jim Crow Jim Crow sound. Jim Crow was implemented there too. Anti-miscegenation laws, lynchings, a lot of things. Black farmers having to be pushed out. That's why most of them went to New York, Puerto Ricans and U.S. Virgin Islanders. The same way how mainland black ADOS had to move out to the north because they had to move to New York, Chicago, Detroit, Bay Area, San Diego, LA. And then they also branch out to other cities too, like Sac, Stockton, Modesto. Well, that's for the mainland one, the mainlanders. Trex Manifest. Hold on, man. I need to see what you're saying, man. What's up, family? What's up, bro? Trex Manifest. I think this discussion is missing something else about ADOS. Slaves were brought to the Americas. We're all American, just from different lands like North America, South America. That's true. Yeah, that's another thing too. I'm realizing. Yeah, yeah. Like, and as an African, I try my best not to say, okay, this was my struggle or not. Like as an African, yeah, I experience a lot of discrimination, racism, white supremacy, of course, Arab supremacy, Japanese supremacy. Just a lot of hatred. But I'm not gonna say that, oh, my ancestors suffered the same way black Americans did. You know what I mean? We suffered a lot, yeah. My ancestors suffered a lot against Italian fighting, Italians trying to conquer Ottomans, Arabs. But it's different, and I respect the difference. We have some similarities, yes, but it's different at the end of the day. And I think we should, as black people, we should respect the differences and try to learn from one another, rather than being so divisive. That's how I feel, and that's why I'm asking my YouTube family about how do they feel about this situation, because I want people to actually have discussions like this, from all walks of life, but primarily our community, to have that discussion and say who is who and who is not who. Let's have that discussion and let's work from there and try to learn from one another. That's how I believe. With that being said, I was going to go on to the thing about Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands and mainland ADOS. So, they all moved to New York, okay? And you have to think about this. Puerto Rico is a majority black island too, similar to U.S. Virgin Islands, an island state. They deserve statehood, but they're trying to minimize the black American population. Because if you think about it, Puerto Rico has 3.8 million people. The majority of them are black, whether you like it or not. So that's about like 2.5 million black people in Puerto Rico, about 100,000 people in the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's gonna increase numbers by a lot, and that's what they're afraid of. That's why the U.S. wants to make them territories instead of U.S. statehoods. You get my point, family? And with that being said, there's going to be a lot of issue. They don't want political power. The society. That's a problem. The British owes Jamaicans reparations. Yes, I know the ADOS movement has animosity towards other blacks. I think, yes, to some degree, people do have animosity towards other black people, of course. Yeah, like I feel like the ADOS movement, but we have to also think about it. In Jamaica, if I was to go to Jamaica too, they would tell me very similar things. They'll be like, "Oh, get out of here! Like you should go back to your country." Or even South Africa. South Africa is much worse in my opinion. Here, at least with ADOS, they're just explaining stuff. Like they're saying, "Okay, this is who and this is that." I'll respect that. But there's a fine line between that and killing like in South Africa. South Africa is just completely anti-black immigrant. I'll be honest with that. But I do agree that there are some people that do take it too far. I agree, and they should be shunned. They should be shunned from the movement. But I also feel like some of them, they say, "Oh, every coon is an immigrant." No, that's not That's not primarily true. I will say there are many coons who are immigrants, yes, many, but there's also many good ones as well. We can't generalize. The problem is people are generalizing too much. That's what I don't like. And I feel like we have to be specific, and we still have to have respect for one another when we're discussing about differences. I feel like I agree. The ones who have animosity, they should be shunned. Like they should be like, oh fuck this immigration, fuck that immigration. No, 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 no. We have to. It's not about saying f this to that group. It's about addressing something. That's the difference. And back to my story, the Puerto Ricans and the U.S. Virgin Islanders, they integrated pretty much very well into the mainland Black American culture. I mean, if you think about it, like yeah, no, I'm being honest, man. I feel like with the ADOS movement, there has to be a a distinction. Like for example, there should be upper South, like for example Kentucky, the Kentucky ADOS, West Virginia ADOS, Maryland, Mid Atlantic, South Atlantic. Well, Virginia is in South Atlantic too. The DC, the Texas, we can say South, not like the Gulf of Mexico type ADOS, and then we'll call one group. We'll call them like for the ethnic group. We'll call them not nationality ethnic group is the Puerto Rican ADOS and the U.S. Virgin Islander ADOS, but they all fall under the ADOS umbrella, similar to our Ethiopians. There's Amara, there's Oromo, there's Tigres, there's Afars, there's Gambalas, there's Gurages. It's similar to that, and I feel like that's what's gonna happen within the American descents of slaves for U.S. because they're all areas of the United States, but they all have different cultures. Like for example, you can't put all the South together, all the Puerto Rico together, all the U.S. Virgin Islands together. Trex Manifest. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X all have Caribbean roots. That's true, man. No, that's right, man. No, there's a lot of Caribbeans that came before the '60s too. I agree. I agree. For example, Malcolm is half American, half Caribbean. So how will that work? I feel like okay. This is how I believe it will work. America will owe his American side American reparations, while the his Caribbean side Grenada will owe him English reparations. I feel like that would work out perfectly. Marcus Garvey, he did immigrate from Jamaica to United States. Yeah, and I feel like America because he was a honorary, very honorary into the Caribbean culture and Black American culture. He could get technically both reparations from the U.S. and England. That's how I believe. Well, what do you think, Trex? What you think, man? Trex Manifest. And Cuba and the Dominican Republic and Venezuela, Mexico, all of them, they're owed reparations by Spain, in Brazil by Portugal, and then the ABC islands like Aruba, Curaçao, and the other ones, but that border Venezuela, like by the Caribbean coast, they're owed by the Dutch. Same with Suriname too, Dutch. Yeah, a lot of people forget about the Dutch, man. A lot of people do. Harlem was New York. New York was a Dutch colony before it was handed over to the British. People forget about that. A lot of people do. A lot of people do, man. My bad. I'm just moving around everywhere. That's why I'm like this. Malcolm X could get both reparations from both governments. Exactly, man. I completely agree, man. And he should, rightfully so. Hold on, let me write to you. But okay, Trex, what do you think in general about about the ADOS movement. Do you think that Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands should be considered part of ADOS, or or a subset of ADOS, or a sub ethnic group of ADOS? Because ADOS is a nationality at the end of the day, similar to Jamaica. With that being said, Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands can be like a subset. Like, for example, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma. We can do something like that. I believe that that would work out fine. Now let's get back to Kamala Harris. I'm gonna do a live stream later about Kamala Harris, about what Alexander said, and he is right to some degree. How she grew up in Canada, not in the United States of America. So there is a huge difference. To some degree, she didn't have an American experience, half and half. You know, she was bused. I'm not gonna deny that, but the difference is a lot. You know, and also she's mixed with Indian too. Desi, South Asian. She's a Tamil, right? Tamil Indian. And then Kamala is only a quarter. If you think about it, she's a quarter black, bro. Cause Donald Harris, her daddy, he's mixed. And then her mom is Indian from the most part. I don't know. Some people say, oh, she could be. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, some people say, oh, she might be mixed a little bit. Her mom maybe with a little bit of black, maybe black Fijian or something. But at the same time, she was born in India, not Fiji. Fijians didn't immigrate, weren't brought to masses in India. Indians were brought masses to Fiji as indentured servants. But I don't know. Maybe, and a lot of the Indo-Fijians, they never went back to India, from what I heard. A lot of them come to America, Indo-Fijians. Yeah, that's why a lot of Fijians assume, a lot of people in America assume that a Fijian is a Desi. No, a Fijian is a black person. Desis are the ones who came similar to the Caribbean and Africa, like Uganda, South Africa, as indentured servants. So, I mean, I don't know if Kamala's mom is mixed or not. I don't think she's mixed. I think she looks like from what I can see, a pure South Asian woman. I mean, that's how I see it. I don't see it as anything else. I could be wrong. What was I gonna say? But what I do agree, what I like about this movement is that, yeah, it shows awareness, but there also has to be there has to be, the awareness needs to come through unity too. We all, now that there's a national identity, now there needs to be unity as a whole, I believe. And I feel like it has to be reciprocated. One person cannot, or one nation can't do all the fighting for billions upon billions of people. I agree with that to some extent. I feel like everyone has to step up to the plate and stand up. That's how I believe. Anyways, family, what are your thoughts about it? Like, comment, subscribe below. And I'm going to be out. I'm going to do another live stream again soon, okay? And it'll be a different topic, okay? All right, family, have a good one. God bless y'all. Have a good day. Bye. I'm going to do another live stream in it very soon, okay? Like in about 25 minutes, okay? All right, family, have a good one, and bye. Different topic, but similar discussion, okay? Have a good one. Bye. God bless y'all.